All right, so we're here again in our chill out, or in our daily scrum, I should say, and we're working on finishing this table. We don't have a whole lot left. What I started doing last week was putting together a table that showed page 25, but it shows page 25 from a predictive lens and an agile lens. So you're able to see in the world of integration, when it comes to developing a project charter, do we have anything like that in Agile? When it comes to develop project management plan, do we have anything like that? And so on and so forth. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the past number of sessions. And I really want to get done with it so I can give it to you. So let's see how far we can go in the next few minutes before more folks join. So the very first process in communications is under planning. And does anyone remember what that is called? What do we call it?
Plan communications management.
Thank you. That's what it is. It's plan communications management. Good. So let me go ahead. I'll put that in a second. Just going to try and freeze these lines. Let's see. Can I do that? I always forget how to freeze these panes. Freeze top row. There we go. Hopefully that will work. Let's see if it did. Yes, it did. Okay. So up here to communications, and Brandon says it's plan communications management. Okay. Now in the Agile world, you know, we don't have a whole bunch of plans and stuff, but what we do have are things like our team charter that guide us about how we're going to communicate. We use concepts such as osmotic communication. We use concepts such as the information radiator. So let's make this bigger. Information radiator. And I guess I could probably put the information radiator over here. Right? It's probably more like that. Because over here in executing, we have manage communications, right? I just say manage com. All right, and we also have osmotic communication. We use the fishbowl window concept, which is where we leave our Zoom conference or whatever the teleconference we're using. We leave it on all throughout the day so that our team members can look into our world as a fish looks through the bowl into the outside world. So pretty much just a team charter. As far as monitoring and controlling, does anyone remember the process we have in monitoring and controlling? What's it called? For communications?
Communications.
Thank you. Moncoms. That's it. And as far as that is concerned, we always have our retrospective, which helps us glean how well we're doing in the various aspects, anything to do with process and how the team does any of the knowledge areas. We always do the monitoring and controlling and the improvements in any of those ceremonies or even outside of those. So we have the daily scrum to look for impediments in communications. And we also have our sprint review. You can be rest assured you will hear from stakeholders if you're not doing a very good job in that. So that's communications. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So we've got three processes: plan communications management, manage communications, and monitor communications. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So going on to risk now, in the world of predictive, does anyone remember the 5 things that happen in planning within risk management? Anyone remember?
Identify risks.
That's one of them. What's the first one before identify risks?
Plan.
Thank you. Plan risk management, then identify risk. And by the way, my abbreviations, I'm using abbreviations. So if I say IR, that is identify risk. Okay, what happens after identify risk?
Qualitative and quantitative risk analyses.
Good. Do you remember what the process is called?
Perform qualitative risk analysis.
You
and
got it.
Perform quantitative.
There you go. Perform quantitative risk analysis. And then what's the last one in planning?
Address responses.
Plan risk responses. You got it. Good job. All right. So let's put those here. Now, in the world of Agile, what we do is we use the concept of a risk-adjusted backlog. Some teams could use a probability and impact matrix, believe it or not. Some teams do stuff like that. But the iterative planning and incremental delivery, those help us in our risk management, believe it or not. Everything we do in Agile, it's a risk coping mechanism. All those events, the rapidity, doing things frequently over and over again, they're all risk coping mechanisms. So this whole idea about risk, we tackle it in a number of ways. All right. We don't necessarily have a plan per se, but we have other things that help us to manage risk. The definition of ready, the definition of done, all of these, when you really boil them down, they're ways of handling risk at an even more strategic level. Let's go to executing. Executing, we have implement. I'll just say implement risk responses. A part of implement risk responses is actually doing what you are meant to. So in the world of Agile, we're just going to draw on the concept of the risk-adjusted backlog. Risk-adjusted backlog. And the events, all the events, whatever those events might be, sprint, review, even your sprint planning, your backlog refinement, your daily scrum, and the retrospective, they are all avenues for you to take that plan of keeping risk, under surveillance. It all begins, here. So let me take some of these out. I'm going to leave this for the executing. I'm going to put the rest in here because they're more on the monitoring level. And this is, who remembers what it's called for risk under monitor? Monitoring, not control. Yeah, monitor, you got it. Okay. Okay, that's really it. You see, where risk is concerned in the world of Agile, we actually don't have a whole lot of stuff. It's all in the rapidity, the frequency of doing stuff that we handle risk accordingly. Any questions so far about any of the two that we just looked at? Communications and risk. Any questions? Any concerns? All right, let's move on. There's nothing there. Let's go to procurement. So in procurement, we have 3 processes. Does anyone remember them?
Plan.
Good. Plan, procurements. And then in executing, what's it called?
Conduct procurements.
Thank you. Conduct procurements. And then in monitoring and controlling, what's it called?
Control.
You got it. Control procurements. Okay. So in the world of predictive, we have a procurement management plan. To be quite honest, in the world of Agile, the best that we have is just good old common sense, probably a product roadmap of sorts, and the more tactical plans at the lower level. So planning at the lower levels. I'll also say that you should read pages 77 and 78 to understand agile contracts. Agile contracts. All right. Again, same thing for conduct procurements. We don't make a whole lot of fanfare about this because we respect the fact that in some companies, they've got entire departments that do these things, right? So we do conduct procurement. As far as control procurements, there's really no document that we use, but we have the Agile Manifesto, values and principles to guide us. It says customer collaboration over contract negotiation for a reason. We also use the concept of we favor, I should put it here. A big one is the favoring full service suppliers. And that's also talked about on pages 77 and 78. So we look to partner with vendors, suppliers to come in, do staff augmentation, team augmentation. And it's all about collaboration over negotiation. That needs to be the mindset. So there's not a whole lot of stuff. I mean, people who are working with vendors on the team, they can have their own meetings away from everyone else. Or if the vendor is really tightly coupled with what is going on, then they can attend the dailies like they're a developer, So that's how we would roll in that regard. As far as stakeholder, same thing. We have over here in initiating a process known as what? What's the process for stakeholder? The first one?
Identify.
Thank you. Identify stakeholder. Stakeholders. That's in initiating. Okay, I see some friends have joined us. Cynthia, welcome. Chandra, welcome as well. All right, so we have identified stakeholders. We're just going to get done with this. And Cynthia, I'm going to hand it over to you. I heard yesterday was a really productive session. Hopefully you can make that happen again today. All right, so identify stakeholders. In the world of Agile, we just have good old common sense, business as usual. The product owner should know who the stakeholders are. For sure, because the product owner is a mouthpiece for the business. So if the product owner doesn't know who the stakeholders are, then the project is already in trouble. So this individual should be very conversant with the stakeholders. All right, planning. What's the process called?
Plan. Stakeholder engagement.
You got it. Thank you. Don't miss the word engagement. It's a tricky one. It's different from all the others. Again, the way we engage our stakeholders, you want to use the whole concept of the Agile Manifesto. You want to think about business people and developers should work what? Who remembers?
Peace.
Should work together daily throughout the project. That's it. You got to work daily with your business people and developers. That's it. Okay. So the Agile Manifesto pretty much guides a lot of our thinking. You could also have the team charter, right? The team charter could spell out conduct as far as stakeholders are concerned. So we could have that. Going into executing, the process is known as what?
Manage.
Thank
Stakeholder
you.
engagement.
You got it. Thank you. Manage stakeholder engagement. All right. Let's put this here and wrap. And again, you got to keep that Agile Manifesto, that needs to be the mindset. I would also say here that your roadmap the product roadmap shows any external big bucket tasks on the timeline. Let's just say big bucket components on the timeline. All right, so you want to keep an eye on that product roadmap because it shows intersection points of marketing and sales and some strategy stuff that might be higher level. Last but not least, we've got what?
Monitor.
Thank you. The word monitor. It's not control. We don't control our stakeholders. We monitor stakeholder engagement. And again, as far as this is concerned, we can have the retrospective. We can have for sure the sprint review, which is sprint review, daily scrum, and so on and so forth. I mean, at any point in time, you could discover that you are not engaging a stakeholder properly. You don't have to wait till you get to a ceremony before you do something about it. Okay, and I think we've done very well. We are done with our map of the world of Agile as far as how you could break it down. I am going to save it and I am going to share it. So I'll just call it Agile page 25, save it, look for it in my files, PMP, Agile breakdown, open it, and let's hit end recording. All right, so for those of you who are watching after the fact, we've come to the end. That's it. I think we got everything. We got all the 49 processes down, but we've also got a blurb on how you can view each one of these 49 processes in the world of Agile. And it's quite important for you to do this as you prepare for your exam so that you can be more hybrid in your thinking. I think it will really help. All right, that's it. I'll send you this Excel file in a few seconds.